The best way to fail at indie game development is to never try. But of course, if you never try, some might say you'll never actually fail. So let's assume you do try. Here's how to fail. If there were ever a reason to skip an episode, it would be this one, because it's on optimization, and everybody knows that that's completely unnecessary. But if you are going to watch, let's cover some of the basics. When optimizing, use the biggest, baddest NASA computer you can find. This way your frame rate will stay at 60 frames a second and only drop sometimes, and you can feel like it's already optimized. Besides, your game is only going to attract the serious gamers, who have just as nice a rig as you, so you don't even need to provide options to turn down the graphics for those potato computers out there. Also, for your graphics, download only 4K file versions of textures and mappings, and make every sprite its own file as well. You can make a sprite sheet after you're done adding new sprites. Don't worry, you won't forget by then. Besides, you want to keep all the prototyping sprites and old code in your current build for the rest of your game's life, because when people download your game, the extra space it takes up on your computer will make it feel like there's more to it than there actually is. Speaking of code, it's important that you can understand what's going on, so keep everything easily accessible. To do this, try to write your whole game in one single script that controls everything and uses as many if statements as possible to check massive lists of possible values. I am not referring to a particular anime-inspired game famous for its failure, mostly attributed to poorly optimized spaghetti code. Nah, I wouldn't do that. This is a very general issue that I'm bringing up. Just as unlikely to cause lag are code loops, like for loops and while loops. So use them all the time to check normal things, like the light level of every single pixel in view, and then execute more code and more loops based on the condition of each one. Or, on a completely unrelated note, because once again I'm not referring to any game or game dev in particular, you could store all your important data in massive arrays with generic magic number values ranging into the thousands. This might not slow the program down, and that's what matters. Who cares if it makes it impossible for you to finish your game? On a more serious note, if you do want to finish your game, I recommend learning more about object-oriented programming. If you feel like you need some structure while learning, I have a link in the description to a great online code academy that I recommend. Plus, it would be helping the channel out if you decide to take that route. And if you don't need that kind of structure, you can learn all this stuff for free all over the internet. Yeah, that's right. Let's go back to being sarcastic. Yeah, don't bother learning about basic coding principles that you have access to literally anywhere, or at the minimum reaching out to a friend or community that can help review your code. Nah, you're likely a solo dev, and if you get someone's help, it means you can't call yourself that anymore. Remember, that self-image is more important to keep up than making a game that actually works. Optimization does come down to unique aspects of every game, because every game is completely 100% unique, especially yours because you are so talented. Therefore, common solutions in optimization that are all over the internet should be ignored. The wheel hasn't been invented yet, and you are the chosen one, destined to get the job done. You are not the dev we want, but the dev we need. Also, you need to keep your priorities straight. What are people going to care about more? A game that runs smoothly by implementing some of the many solutions specific to your game that have already been provided by the public, and if not that, at least coming up with your own optimization solutions? Or new content. Even if you happen to have a team with over 1,000 employees under the largest game IP in the world, putting any amount of focus in optimizing would be pointless, because the hype for new content is what makes you money. Not that I'm referring to any game in particular, I would never do that. So if your game isn't running smoothly, remember, people aren't going to care if you post about how you fix some lag, because they can't see that. So instead, just add more content. That's much more fun anyway. And if you follow these instructions carefully, you are bound to succeed at something, probably, because I mean, there's so many games out there that are unoptimized and uber successful, making millions of dollars. So again, like, this was the episode that you could just skip. I don't know why you voted for this one to be the next one to be done. But if you did watch all the way through, I mean, I still appreciate you for, I still appreciate you. Man, I stutter a whole lot more when I'm not reading a script. Yeah, goodbye.